Module 5, Part 2. Placing control points will go a little more smoothly, sometimes a lot more smoothly, if you do some thinking in advance. So before we select control points for the Bonner map, I have another list of recommendations which you'll also find in your handout. Recommendations for adding control points, and the first one is to spend some time studying your map and the reference layer or layers that you've chosen to locate good control points before you begin. Second, the basic process begins when you click on the Add Control Points button on the georeferencing toolbar. I'll walk you through that. Then you click on the location of your first control point, first on the historical map, then on the corresponding location on the reference layer. This is always the sequence. It's the only sequence that works. Always go from the historical image to the reference layer. Point 4 says that once you have laid down your first control point, you can zoom, pan, turn layers on and off, use the magnifying tool, apply transparency. You can use all kinds of tricks to help you see where to place each control point. Just re-click on the Add Control Points button to reactivate the tool when you're ready to put down that second link, the link on the reference layer. If you decide that a control point or several control points are no good, you can delete them from the link table. So let me now walk you through this process with the Bonner map. I have spent some time studying the map. Let me repeat a little of that with you. Zooming into the Bonner layer, I'm interested in the north end, so I wanted to look at it and get some ideas for perhaps sharp corners on streets that I believe still exist. And one of those was on Salem Street at the corner of Prince's Street, right here. Salem and Prince Street. So that's the first point that I'm going to go into. Then you'll remember one of the recommendations generally for georeferencing is that you choose different parts of the map to lay down your points. So I'm going to turn off the roads layer here so we can see the historic map better. Another area that I'm interested in is around the Boston Common. Here's the Common, and here we have the corner of School Street and Tremont Street. Tremont, one of the famous streets of downtown Boston. And in order to make sure that School Street was still there, I checked on the roads layer, and I'll just show you how I did that. Now I'm going to turn off the Bonner layer. You go to Selection, Select by Attributes, choose the roads layer out of those available, choose street name. You double click on it and it appears in the query box, street name equals, then get unique values, brings up all of the street names in this roads database, and I'm looking for School Street, so I go down to School Street. Ooh, a lot of ramps on and off the highways. Getting through the R's, into the S's momentarily. This is real-time recording, folks. Then we get to the S's. School Street will be coming up shortly. And I just went past it. School Street. Double-click on that, so now I have my query phrase. Street name equals School Street. Click OK. And here it is, this little street highlighted here, and there's another one over here. And are there any more? Well, I can zoom, up in Selection, zoom to Selected Features. Which school street is it that I want? It's this one in the old part of Boston. So I know that it still exists, and I'll use that for my second point. And the third point that I want to use, I'm going to turn on the map again and go up to Selection and left-click to clear the selected features to make that highlighting go away. The last area that I wanted to get into the georeferencing is way down here on what they called the neck of the Shawmut Peninsula. Right here were the gates to Boston in 1722, and I did a bit of online research and found that in the present-day landscape that gate is at the corner of Washington Street and East Berkeley Street, which I checked and they're in my roads layer. So those are the 3 points that I'll be using. In the last part of this module, I'll walk through the placement of those control points.